So do you remember when we made the chicken house? We cut this out of the top of the metal box thing. Well, we've got this piece of metal and we think we're going to make something out of this. And we've got a few of these chairs which we want to use, and at the moment we are doing a kind of like ready reckoning and a bit of measuring. Martin's just trying to draw a straight line so we can cut it out with the angle grinder. We're just trying to work out how we're going to do this. We're going to make those kind of little shop planters with the little corrugated roofs. This is what the plan is. So follow.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. So if you follow along and you see us doing what we're doing, and obviously there'll be a lot of jiggery pokery as we go, because obviously we're using items that have been salvaged and we're going to repurpose them into something else. So it takes a little bit of sometimes brain work.
So what I've done so far is all I did was, because this was a slightly odd shape, I've just squared it off basically, so I've got a piece that is even on all sides. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mark the centre line along here, then I'm going to cut it into two pieces.
Because we're going to make two planters.
Make two planters.
So we cut our pieces out with the angle grinder for the roof. And because it's metal and it's been cut out with an angle grinder, here we are beavering away, making sure that there's no rough edges that anybody can catch themselves off and sanding them down. It's just using a Stanley knife to cut off the sort of woven stuff on the top of the chair, and we put that in the compost. Martin used his reciprocating saw to cut the chair apart so that we could use all the pieces.
Okay, so if you can hear me above the wind, then this is just a pile of old pallet boards from some pallets that I broke down a while ago. We're going to try and use these for the box.
Marty's just cutting and measuring on the chop saw all the pieces that he thinks he's going to need for the box.
Okay, so I've cut all the material down to size based on the total dimensions of the roof, just inside of that, so we've got a nice overhang. I've cut them all down, just left them rough, not trying to make them look pretty too much at the moment, and I'm just about to start putting all this box together, screwing it all together nice and tight, and I'll show you the finished article in a minute.
So Marty's just drilling and screwing onto the box the chair legs that he cut up. So this is it so far. The boxes are looking good. They've got the chair legs on the front, and Martin's put not so much reclaimed wood but old used wood that we had to make the back, because it has to be much taller than the front, and he's just measuring and making sure he's got a spirit level on it to check its level. So I've decided that I'd like a little shelf inside of this, so this is what Martin is doing for me now. He's putting a little shelf in it, and soon we'll be getting onto the roof, and then it'll be onto the staining and painting.
So I wanted this little shelf. It's not going to take much weight, so I've just made a little bracket here to take the weight of the shelf down through into here, and a little tab here which I've screwed and glued. Just that should be enough basically to take the weight, any weight that's going to go on that shelf. We're good.
Martin's just measuring out here where his screw holes are going to go for the roof, because he has to drill it.
Okay, so we decided that the roof was far too big, so we've cut it in half, and we've made a much shallower roof. Leslie's just showing you the bit we cut off.
We just literally cut it in half.
We literally just cut it in half. And what we're doing now is Leslie's just made up a stain, and or two different stains, a darker one and a slightly lighter one. Actually, Leslie, why don't you tell them?
So what I've done is I've mixed up two different kinds of acrylic stain. I've mixed a thicker, darker one, which I've added more acrylic to, and a much watery version of it. And where it was palette, it looks kind of iffy just now because it's just been painted, but I didn't want it to not look like a palette, but it had those where the other palette has sat over it for a number of years. So I'm just trying to make it look lighter, darken up the light bits but not really touch the dark bits. For these bits here that we added on, which was not salvaged wood but it had been previously painted on some sides, I'm using the darker stain on that. Hopefully what will happen is it'll all kind of blend together and be more uniformed, and I've got some black stain which I'm going to pop in some of the corners just to kind of grunge it, even though grungy it up. And then what we're going to do next is Martin's just been sanding me this piece of wood and he's boarded it together on the back, and I'm going to take it into the house and I'm going to make it a sign that goes on here, and we're going to put some hooks and things, and then what we'll do after that is, just to stop any more aging, we'll spray it with acrylic spray. So I'm going to go and do all the painting signy bits, and Martin's going to make another one because we've got another top board. So that's what we're going to do. Martin, have you got anything to add?
Not at the moment.
There's a lot of talking. Okay.
So I've made a couple of stencils on my Silhouette Cameo, and what I'm actually doing is I'm using a makeup sponge to apply black acrylic onto the stencil to stencil the sign.
So here's the finished things. You saw earlier on the way we did them. I made the boxes first, put the legs on and things, put the shelf on, put the roof on. The roof was, was from the old trailer that you saw us cut up in a previous video. Lel made these lovely signs. I'll let her talk about how she made those. But there you have it.
Fabulous. So all I did for the signs was I just painted them with chalk paint, and then what I did was I stenciled them. I made my own stencils, and I just added some flowers for the flower one, and I stenciled the word blooms on the flower one and fresh herbs on the herb, the sweet bay and lavender one. So, and then they've had a coat of sealant to keep them so the chalk paint's all sealed in and they'll all stay nice. So that's the planters. There we have them. So we've been made by Marley. If you've liked this video, please feel free to share it with other people that you think might want to do things like this. Please subscribe and push the bell notifications so that you can see every time we upload a new video. So this has been Fun Day Sunday, and we've been upcycling all bits of wood, all corrugated metal and pallets and chairs and everything to make these beautiful planters. So I've been Lel.
And I've been Martin.
And we are made by Marley. Thank you.